Hey folks, we're very excited to have the world famous Anthony William on our C3 Chat show today. He is known as the medical medium. He's a New York Times best-selling author. He has 6 best-selling books, including Medical Medium, Life-Changing Foods, Thyroid Healing, Liver Rescue, and his latest book called Cleanse to Heal. He is known for healing millions around the world, and he's the originator of the global celery juice movement. He has millions of followers on social media, and he's been on every news station. He gets praise from Sylvester Stallone, Hilary Swank, Pharrell Williams, and so much more. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much. It's an honor. It's great to see you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anthony, we're so glad to have you on our show. And you know what? Today is a pleasure because we have so many things we want to discuss with you. And let me start the first question off. As you know, we're in the midst of this pandemic, right? A lot of people have been stuck in their houses. It's just a challenging time. In particular, a lot of people with their mental and physical health is taking a strain, right? Right.
Yeah.
What are the steps based on your kind of what you're seeing out there, what you're teaching people, whatever it is that you're talking about, right? What are the steps that people can take to improve their lives right now?
I think it's the same steps that I've always talked about for so many years, for over 35 years, helping people get their lives back. And one of those steps was to just make sure you're building your immune system up. And someone might say, well, immune system, well, why do we need our immune systems built up? Well, because we've always been dealing with viruses. We've always been faced with viruses all along the way. Fibromyalgia, medical medium information was the first to bring out that fibromyalgia is caused by a virus, Epstein-Barr, and it goes on and on. Hashimoto's thyroiditis, that's Epstein-Barr related. There's just so many different, Epstein-Barr caused. So the virus can cause the Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, lupus, and eczema and psoriasis. Of course, with eczema and psoriasis, I've talked about the medical medium information. You need the virus plus toxic heavy metals, but the amount of conditions that are caused by viruses going all the way back that I've been talking about has been out there. So what happens is you got all these people out there that are sick with chronic illness. They're sick with autoimmune. They're sick with chronic illness. They don't know why they have autoimmune because there's no answers out there, and research and science doesn't have an answer for why somebody's got an autoimmune condition or gets a label for a disease. And when people are going around with all these different conditions that are mysterious too, and symptoms like tingles and numbness, aches and pains, dizziness, vertigo, anxiety, and all these other symptoms like floaters in the eyes, mysterious headaches, neck pain, jaw pain, neuropathy, all these different things. These are viral. These are virus caused. And, science and research likes to tell people, of course, hey, it's your fault. Your body's attacking itself. Your body's attacking its own immune system, and that's why you're sick. But that's not the truth. They don't have even data that shows the body's immune system attacking an organ or a gland. It's just really a theory. So all along, people are suffering and struggling. Hundreds of millions around the planet are living a life that's not at their best because they're dealing with all these symptoms and conditions. And for all these years, I've been getting the word out that it's viral and we're dealing with viruses, and viruses are part of why we're sick. So when it comes down to any other strain of virus, it kind of comes back to almost the same thing in so many ways. Let's get the immune system stronger. Let's do antiviral foods. Let's do antiviral supplements. Let's get the zinc in us. Let's do all these beautiful things that we need so we can actually repel all these different viruses that have plagued people for decade after decade. It's amazing, you guys, that there's all these sick people struggling and suffering. They got severe chronic fatigue syndrome, right? And they got the fatigue and the aches and pains and the dizziness and the tingles and numbness on their body. And they're getting all these different diagnoses, and they're going to 5 doctors, 10 doctors, 3 neurologists, pulmonologists, a GP, an internist, an endocrinologist, and they're trying to find answers. And then all of a sudden, then you get, then we get the viral thing that's going around now, that's happening these days. And then it's like, okay, well, people have been suffering and dying for years and years and years from all these viral issues that no one even knows about or talks about. And, it's about really making sure that people are protecting themselves, building up their immune systems, getting themselves past the conditions that they've been suffering with. Because remember this part that happens here when the whole viral thing just happened recently that everybody's been up against. What's the first thing they've been saying is, if you have an existing condition, if you have an existing condition, or if you already have a health problem, and that's what was happening. And that kind of gets me kind of a little bit upset, because it's like, wait a minute here, exactly. It's so many people have struggled and suffered, lost their lives, are bedridden for decades now too. And I think we need to start paying attention to them too, as well. Not, and of course, it's critical right now with all that's happening. I'm not demeaning or making it like it's not important. What's happening is it's unbelievable in our history right now with what we're dealing with. But we also have millions of people that are bedridden already, decade after decade, seeing doctors and multiple doctors, losing everything, losing their careers, losing their houses, losing their homes, just being poverty stricken because of their conditions, and they can't even pay for their own food, and they can't work a job, and they can't live their life. And I think that's been all this time swept under the carpet. And that's what I've been doing all these years. My focus has always been about the chronically ill, the people who have been ignored, and how do I get their back? Like, how do I have their back? How do I protect them? How do I teach them how to heal and protect themselves? And that's what it's always been about. So when you ask me the question with what's happening in our current times right now, it goes back to what I've always been saying. Whoa, we have to get healthier. We got to get stronger. We got to get our immune system stronger. And then we have a fighting chance for when something like this is happening.
Right.
Anthony, thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I was talking to somebody a couple days ago, and they've been to 1 million doctors, and she has these chronic headaches. And ever since I started juicing because of you, finding you, I've been exercising more, and I've been recommending that specifically to my friend. But what can she do to try to solve headaches or try to have some sort of relief? Is there something that you'd recommend?
I mean, I recommend Cleanse to Heal. I mean, that's what I would do right here, because with what I do in this, what's happening in this book here, this is a medical textbook. So this is not just a pamphlet or a wispy paperback that it's only this thin, that has a couple of great ideas, and then a few foods and maybe some citations to some food science. No, this is actually a whole nother level right here. So, when you get into this, there's over 200 different symptoms and conditions inside this book, and true causes. So you can learn what's going on behind my headache, what's going on behind my migraine, why am I living with this, how come it's taking so long to heal, or how come I've already had to see 5 doctors. And what I always recommend, if you have a great doctor, if you have a great practitioner, take the book to your doctor practitioner, and have your doctor look and explore too for the person. And a lot of people do that. They have over the years. The Medical Medium books are in more doctors' offices than any other health authors books out there. So it's I'd recommend the Cleanse to Heal book for sure when we're dealing with a migraine that's unexplainable, dealing with mystery headaches, that are unexplainable. And so it's the way of troubleshooting, because that's the whole thing. When you get your headache and you get your migraine, it's like, what's causing it? What is it? Drinking more water, that's not helping, but kind of helping, but not. I'm eating better. I'm getting rid of gluten, and that might help or not. And then it becomes a guessing game. And I think that's the whole reason why the Medical Medium books exploded back in 2015 when they came on the scene, is there were answers for the first time. It was like helping people troubleshoot their actual condition. Like there, right. And that didn't exist before. Before that, it was like, you have a headache. Well, what do? Take wheat out of your diet, maybe, and maybe take dairy out, if that could even be it. And that was basically it. So I think there's so much that can be done.
Wow,
That's
that's
amazing.
quite
Yeah, who
amazing.
else
And
is- yeah.
Anthony, we want to kind of pivot to another important fact, that we want to talk about. And of course, you're the originator of the global celery juice movement. Talk to us about how celery juicing has been helping millions of people. And more importantly, I will tell you, for myself and Eric included, we both,
Yeah.
ever since we started talking with you, we started juicing, and it's changed our lives. So thank you so much for that.
I'm really proud of you guys, for real. To juice the celery, because it's not easy, because it's juicing, and it's like one more thing you have to do in the morning. You got to get your juicer out there, and you got to run the celery sticks through your juicer, and then you got to clean the juicer after you're done. And of course, you got to do the painstaking thing of drinking it, which a lot of people don't like the flavor of celery. So, like, well, a lot of people love it, though. A lot of people love it. And, and there's two camps in there. I've seen people that are like, oh, I'm not a big fan of celery, so do I really have to drink celery juice? But then there's also this camp that's like, I love the salty flavor. I love the taste of it. So, it depends on who it is, Every time I run into somebody, it's a new experience where they're like, I love my celery juice. But yeah, it's really, the celery juice movement is, bigger than people know. It's really extraordinary, because it's hundreds of millions of people drinking it now. And that alone is unbelievable. And you can call it a trend if you want. You can call it a trend, but it's not supported by any media. It's not supported. It's not supported by the system. It's not supported by the alternative health movement. It's not supported by the conventional health movement. But yet, it's the number one, like, health trend, you can call it, that's actually out there. More people are drinking celery juice than any other thing that's been introduced for people to do in the health movements. But the funny thing is, with no respect behind it, except for all the people that are drinking it and healing, right? But there's no respect from it otherwise, because all you hear about is it's just a vegetable juice. Meanwhile, no, it's herbal medicine. It's an herbal medicine. There's no money behind the celery juice machine. There's no money behind the celery juice movement. There's no money behind the celery juice, like the whole mechanism of the celery juice in a whole. See, what happens is farms are growing celery. All right. They're not making any money off of growing celery. Farms don't make, that's not a great place to bankroll a lot of money. It doesn't work like that. It's a really hard business. Okay. Farming is a brutal business. And a lot of farms have to be subsidized. I mean, you have like difficult seasons, you have farm equipment, the land, you have to lease it. I mean, it's not this thing where, hey, there's all this money in celery juice. There really isn't. And so why is it so powerful? Why is it going so far? Why is it changing like the world in health if there's no money behind it? Because all the other trends in the industry, they have lots of money propelling it. They have shareholders in the caffeine industry, all the matcha tea, shareholders are in that. All the chocolate, shareholders are in chocolate. Like, that is an industry, like a powerful industry that's propelled by billions of dollars. And apple cider vinegar, that's the shareholders in that one too. That's propelled by money. Collagen, that's propelled by money and shareholders and interests. And celery juice, no, celery juice is hated and frowned upon by all of these other industry makers. That's what's so funny about it. That's why you can't even find an article. I mean, I'm in 99% of all the articles of celery juice, and you'll hear the same thing over again, this is so funny how that works. You'll hear, oh, well, there's nothing proven about this. Oh, it's a vegetable, so it's good for you as any other vegetable. It's got vitamin K in it, but other than that, the hype is all hype. That's ridiculous. I'll just give you a quick rundown right here of what it does. Okay,
Okay.
so celery juice has something called sodium cluster salts in it that nobody knows about because science research hasn't found them. It's medical medium information is what it is. So it's all the medical medium information. And sodium cluster salts isn't just salt. Science always knew salt was in vegetables. So there's always a little touch of sodium in all these different vegetables. And that's just, it's always been like this. Spinach has sodium in it. Other vegetables have sodium in it. Kale has a little bit of sodium in it. Science research knew this. Okay, so, but there's something better than that that's inside celery, and it's called sodium cluster salts. And what those are is it's a subgroup of sodium. It's a complete electrolyte that science research isn't even studying because they don't study these things. They don't study vegetables and herbs, really. They just don't. They do the most basic, minimal, they apply the most basic, minimal of research and like food research. And that's all they do. And so all these fruits and vegetables out there in the world and herbs have way more in them than people know. Celery juice especially does. And that's the key. So what celery juice does is those sodium cluster salts, this complete electrolyte, it goes to the brain. It helps to bring back dehydrated neurotransmitters and damaged neurotransmitters. It brings back neurons. It actually feeds neurotransmitters. It lights up and strengthens electrical impulses. And that's just one thing it does. It also brings our stomach glands back. Our stomach glands get burnt out. They get burnt out from our diets. Even our healthy diets burn out our stomach glands because people are still eating things in our healthier diets that aren't good for our stomach glands. So what celery juice does is it helps restore those stomach glands so you get your hydrochloric acid back. So you get those missing links in hydrochloric acid that science and research are unaware of, because hydrochloric acid in our stomach isn't just one acid. It's a 7 different blends of an acid. So science research doesn't know that either. And celery juice helps bring that back. And then celery juice brings back our adrenals. So when our adrenals get wasted and beaten down and broken down, those sodium cluster salts and other things that are in celery juice undiscovered help bring back our adrenals. There's a vitamin C inside celery juice that doesn't have to be converted by the liver like all the other vitamin C's do in food. And that gets to our immune system faster than any other vitamin C. So, and look, our livers are stagnant and sluggish, and celery juice helps to bring back, detoxify, remove, and loosen up toxins inside the liver. And most importantly, the sodium cluster salts in celery juice help to destroy and kill pathogens. Pathogens. What are pathogens? Viruses. Viruses that are behind chronic illness like fibro, like Lyme disease, like neurological Lyme, like multiple sclerosis, and chronic fatigue syndrome, of course, like I said, and lupus, and so many other conditions, and SIBO, even SIBO. These are just some. I'm only throwing a few out. Psoriatic arthritis and eczema, psoriasis. So what happens is with these pathogens, they just sit in us and they cause problem. They wreak havoc, and the sodium cluster salts start to help break them down. That's what it does. And so, okay, well, hey, say someone says, well, he's not proven and none of this is proven. Well, what about the thousands and thousands of stories of people getting their lives back? What about the millions drinking it and swear to God and swear on their heart that it's healing them, and they weren't prompted, they weren't paid to do it, there's nothing in it for them, and it's literally changing the lives around the world? And so, you know what? You think that would be appreciated, but what I've learned all along, that there is a system that doesn't really want people better. I mean, I know that sounds a little harsh or a little crazy, but it's actually true, because if it did, it would seriously do the research in the organic movement of people healing, reversing their conditions and diseases using celery juice as one of the medical medium tools. It moves the needle. There's people out there that tried everything. They are eating a healthy diet. They're off gluten. They're off dairy. They're off fried food. They're off processed foods, you guys. And they bring in celery juice, and all of a sudden they're moving forward, and they tried everything. They tried apple cider vinegar, which made them bloat up and not feel good. They tried collagen. They tried whey protein powder. They tried Corella. They tried all these different things. And and they're plant-based, and they're drinking tons of juices, and they're doing, root vegetables, or they're all raw, and or the paleo or the keto, and they end up bringing celery juice in, and it moves the needle. It actually moves the needle. And that's the amazing thing about it all. No money behind it, no shareholders behind it, no interest groups, no, money makers behind it, big money makers behind it. And it's an organic movement of people healing only. And that's why you won't see good articles about it. That's why you'll see articles where you'll see a couple of dietitians come on, or this kind of fake doctor come on the article. A fake doctor is somebody who doesn't have a practice. They have a degree, but they don't have a practice, and they're not seasoned, and they haven't practiced. They haven't done 20 years of practice like so many great doctors out there that, dedicate their lives to people that are sick. And you'll have somebody on the article, and and they'll be like, hey, they'll be like, celery juice doesn't work. And what do you mean it doesn't work? It actually is saving lives. And there's a lot of incredible doctors that are compassionate, well-known doctors too now, that actually know it's helping their patients, So it's always funny how these articles out there, when you look, it's just, there's nothing there. Like, okay, celery juice is just something that doesn't work, but wait a minute. Oh my God. What it's done for people with neurological conditions, what it's done for people with reproductive conditions. It's really been that great, And look, I'm not saying celery juice fixes everything. I'm not saying it's a fix all by itself, but it has a record of moving the needle. And if someone has stubborn things going on, the medical medium tools, plus the celery juice and other medical medium tools, people can find their way and really move the needle even more and more and more. But I've seen celery juice do it on its own too for so many people. It's just incredible.
Wow.
Anthony, I have seen some really great YouTube videos that say that it works, and I've seen probably 4 different ones. I watched back to back to back, and they've done like 7-day challenges and seen the results. Yeah, that's one of the things that, besides finding you, I watched those videos and I said, okay, let me give it a whirl. And
it's something that you can't sell, and I think that's why you don't see a lot more of that, because it's something you can't sell. I notice if it's something you can sell, it gets a lot behind it. You get the affiliates behind it, and then people talk about it because they're making some kind of money off of it. But because there's no money to be made off of it, you just put it in the juicer and you drink it straight. There's not a lot of excitement on the money-making aspect of celery juice. But what is exciting is, oh my God, the amount of lives it's changed and brought back from the depths of despair, basically, been one of those key tools to do it. It's one of those. And the key is, don't add anything. So if anybody watching this now, don't add anything to your celery juice. Don't add apple juice to it. Don't add water to it. And be careful about high pressure pasteurization. What that means is you go into your store and you'll see it bottled. And you'll see, hey, oh my God, here's celery juice. This is the celery juice Anthony was talking about. And you go in there and it's bottled, and and the problem is it's weaker. It's not strong. It's like it's wasting your money when you buy it that way, because it wasn't juiced fresh. It has a date on there that lasts for weeks because it was pasteurized with HPP. So it might say raw on there, or it might say this is raw, but you really have to ask and look on the bottle and look for HPP. And you don't want it that way. You want it fresh. And I like it made fresh, and in 24 hours time, you have to drink it. That's the key. I like when you drink it right after you make it. That's when it's the most beneficial and the most potent and the most powerful to help someone heal. But yeah, drinking it fresh is better, within that 24 hours.
Wow. It's amazing what you just said. And look, I am a product of what you're what you're talking about. And I would love to connect with you after maybe like 2 months of trying it, and you might see me 100 pounds less and totally different person now. So thank you so much, Anthony, about that. Eric, why don't we jump on to the next topic about the next point.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the spirit of compassion. So on your website, and you speak about this, can you expand on the statement about the spirit of compassion and talk to us about how you come up with these amazing books that work.
Well, if someone reads the books and really gets into a book, and before they make any kind of judgment call, before anything like that, and they'll see the information in there, and they'll see there's no citations, and no citations on medical books means that it's not coming from sources out there. You know what I mean? It's like when you write a medical book now of any kind, and in the health realm too, you have to put the citations in there. And that's what you have to do, unless an author chooses not to, but it's kind of not a good thing, because publishers don't usually let authors do that. But what happens in these books, the information's original, the information's unique. So like in Cleanse to Heal and the rest of the medical medium books, it's advanced medical information that's ahead of science and research. That's why there's no citations in the medical medium books. And it comes from a voice I hear perfectly clear. So, and it comes from above. Now, that sounds crazy. Okay, bottom line. And I've always said that since I heard the voice first off when I was 4 years old and discovered that my grandmother had lung cancer by using this voice I was hearing. And the voice is outside of my ear, which makes it even more. What happens is with people, if they have a voice in their head, or they have thoughts in their head, or they have something, arrive in their thoughts in some way, right? It makes more sense. It's like, okay, well, that person's either channeling something, or maybe that person is just, kind of connecting to the universe, connecting to the ether, right? But it's not that. It's actually just a voice I hear from the outside of the ear, just like I'm hearing you guys right now. And it to the point where you can only partially block it with your hand as it's coming into the ear. Now, and this has never been an easy ride for me. When I hear myself say it after all these decades since I was 4 years old, it's still never easy, because I know that doesn't make sense to someone else, but it is what it is. It's like it's one thing if it started like 5 years ago, then whatever, but I have a history of it being since age 4, and a history of helping more than 250,000 individuals one-on-one using the voice I hear over the last 3.5 decades. So it's one of these things where it isn't just like I woke up last week or a year ago or 3 years, decided to write a book and say that I'm all of a sudden spiritually connected or something. It's been with me. There's a history of it going all the way back. I remember when I was 12 years old and building my clientele in a grocery store, because I was a stock boy in the grocery store, and I would end up meeting clients, and the voice would tell me what was going on with the people around me as they were pushing their carriages around. And 12, 13, 14 years old, 15 years old, building a clientele. And this isn't something that I woke up yesterday and discovered. So what happens is Spirit of Compassion puts this advanced medical information that I've been delivering to people and doctors all these years. And for decades, I've talked to doctors and helped them troubleshoot their most difficult cases with patients, because people that I would meet would hear what the problem was and what was inside their body, or what was causing the true cause of their condition. And they would go to their doctor, and then their doctor would want to contact me and want to know, how did I come across this? How did I know? And then that doctor would build up some trust, because they would see things line up and see the person get better. And so I was known as the guy where you bring your bizarre symptoms to all these years, and then the doctor will talk to you. Not every doctor spoke to me, but thousands have over the years with their patients. So that was my whole life, all that. Then the waiting list got so big, I had to write the books. So it was all about this advanced virology basically inside these books, and how viruses work, and how the body works, and how the brain works, and how to heal, and information about bacteria and different symptoms and conditions. And what you'll find in the medical medium books is the first time ever symptoms with an answer to what's causing them. And we didn't have that. It was rare to even find something like this in toxic heavy metals also. And I talk about toxic heavy metals all these years, but in the books you see where it brings you home to, oh my God, I've heard about toxic heavy metals, But when you read the books, you see, wait a minute, here's where it all was, and here's where it is, and it's all advanced and unique. I don't have to do citations. My publisher specifically for sure, would never let me leave the gate with a book, a medical book, without citations, to due diligence on citations to every single aspect you know. And what these books are is there's no citations because it comes from Spirit of Compassion. And I say Spirit of Compassion because that's what I was told since I was a child, that's what the voice was. And that's, you know, some people are like, are you talking to a ghost or an angel? Or are you talking to, you know, a person who passed and crossed over on the other side? No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not talking to an angel. I'm not talking to a ghost or someone who crossed over or passed away. And I'm talking to what the voice tells me, which is the Spirit of Compassion since I was age 4. And since I woke up that morning and first heard the voice. And so the information I put into the books, and I write feverishly with the voice giving me the information. It's a grueling process. And I do it every day in hopes to get the next book out and then the next book out. So there's this library of life-saving information for the person that says, you know what, I'm tired of everything I tried. I've been there, I've done that. I've seen 20 doctors. Let me just give this a chance. And then they give it a chance. They get their life back. They get their freedom back. And, you know, and it's just like, it changes the game. It's the real change. It's the real game changer is what it is.
Wow. Hey,
Thank you for
Anthony,
sharing that.
that is amazing. I
Wow.
want to just drop one important thing that,
Yeah.
you know, both me and Eric will agree here. It takes so long to get one person to follow and just to reach out and say thank you. You dropped a couple of words here. You said millions. So I give you a lot of props for that because you're changing so many people's lives and it's amazing. And there's not that many people like you. So thank you for that.
It's, well, you know, I wake up in the morning and what goes through my head is, who's that person and who's that mom that can't get out of bed because the chronic fatigue is so bad and her fibro is so bad and her migraines are so bad and she can't get out of bed and she can't make food for her children or she can't drive them to school. And or who's that mom that has a 15-year-old daughter that just came back to the doctor's office together with her and the daughter, and the doctor said, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. It's your body attacking itself. You have autoimmune. And the daughter looks up her condition and she hears that her body's destroying itself. And now she's in shock thinking her body's faulty. Or maybe it's that person who is sick and because there's no answers, they think they created it with their own thoughts. Like they think that they're just a bad person and their thoughts aren't good and they're not positive and they're not attracting the right things. And then they don't know why they're sick. And then they think they feel terrible about themselves. Or I think about that person who can't take a shower because when water hits them, I was talking to somebody recently that's recovering from multiple sclerosis using the medical medium information. And they were at a point where they got into the shower, they could barely let water touch them. And when water hit their head, they would almost fall over in the shower. And now they're recovering. It's what about these people? And that's when I wake up in the morning and say, you know, you work for God. You work for God. And it's about making sure that that one person out there, out of so many, or all these people out there, they have a fighting chance, you know. And sure, it's like, I get it. You know, people who aren't sick, they'll be like, that's crazy. Who's this guy? Who's this crackpot? He's, you know, like here, he hears a voice. What gives him the right? You know, he's not a doctor, you know, all that. But when you're sick and you've already been through the mill and you've been through everything and your back is broke from it all and your heart is broken and your spirit's breaking and your soul is breaking, and you know, you hear someone healed from this information, and then you finally get answers and you're getting your life back. It means everything. And I wake up in the morning every morning early and I'm just like, okay, what can I do? What can I do to keep to keep people healing, to keep the message out there strong, no matter about the naysayers and the discriminators, because I've been discriminated against more than anybody could ever imagine because of hearing a voice of where my information comes from. I've suffered from discrimination. I've suffered from bullying. I've suffered from, all that, the naysayers. And you know what? I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter for the chronically ill. And I always think that no matter what I've gone through to get this information out in the world with no support, because very little support, what I've gone through is worth going through and worth fighting for with all the millions that are healing around the world right now. The medical medium books have street cred. They have street cred. Doctors tell me that all the time. And the reason why is they have proven results and street cred. And that matters. And, and I think about that too. People don't cite me too. Like, what's amazing, like I can come up out of, I could come up out of my office with the next groundbreaking book. Okay. And groundbreaking with information that's advanced, head of science research, no one's even heard about it before. And then it gets out there. And then it spreads, but people don't cite it back to the book. And then someone will say, well, this is what happens with heavy metals in the brain. And then someone won't even know where it even comes from or where it comes back to. And all these years before the books, I was teaching doctors, I was teaching people in the health movement going back 30 years ago and giving out critical tidbits to how people can heal. And it's spread around. And there's no science and research behind it. Then did they hear a voice? Where did it come from? Originally it came from the medical medium information, or it came from my work all these years of getting it out there, doing lectures and getting the information out there before the books were published and talking to so many different health professionals. And then when you get a tidbit out there or one of these pieces out there, people, oh, that was already out there before. Oh, it was? Well, where's the science behind that? Well, you won't find science behind that because guess what? There was no science behind that. It originated and from the medical medium information. But anyway, it's funny how it works, but the books really showcase that advanced information that's saving lives, and it shows where it comes from. It shows the uniqueness of it, the original nature of it, and it preserves it. And that's what's been a blessing. So people can say, you know what? I tried this, I tried that, I tried charcoal, I tried whey protein powder, I tried fish oil, I tried this therapy, that therapy, I've tried all these different things. I've tried 10 doctors. And you know what? Let me look at this. I tried every diet. I've tried the balanced diet, the keto diet, the paleo diet, the intuitive eating diet, the food combining diet, the paleo diet, the plant-based diet, the vegan diet, the vegetarian diet, tried it all. And let's find out what's really in. You stumble across this book and you look at the positive stories of people getting their lives back, and you realize, wait a minute, there's something in here. Let me take a look at this. And then when you get into it, you realize, oh my God, that's where this comes from. And here's the whole complete, picture of it. And it's incredible. So, wow. I mean, that's what it's been and what's been happening. And that's, like I said, no marketing companies behind me. People say he's monopolized the health movement because his books are around the world. They're almost in every single country in the world. Millions of books have been sold around the world. And, and I tell people, you can't buy a book, go to the library and get it for free. But people say he's monopolized the health movement. And, oh, that's funny because I've had no money behind me, no PR and marketing, no big marketing firms, no publicists, no anything. It's been just little old me in the books getting spread of word of mouth and people healing. And, and that's with the amount of naysayers and haters and everything else. It's actually been quite a trip. But like I said, when you see people get their lives back and heal from critical neurological conditions, they couldn't find an answer, it makes it all worth it. It makes everything worth it when that mom can get out of bed and start living her life again. When, that college kid can actually go back to college. When someone's son can go back to college because he's feeling better. Because someone's daughter can go back to college because so many have to drop out and they can't do anything. They can't start their careers. They can't, and it's amazing. Anyway, it's so important.
Wow. Anthony, I don't think I've ever met anyone as passionate as you. that you truly love what you do and it's working. So I wanted to ask you to drop your email or domain name, or how people can find you or find your books. Just how can people get in touch with you? With
I'm
your
on
product?
Instagram, Medical Medium. On
Mhm.
Instagram, I'm on YouTube too. And on YouTube, you'll see some healing stories on there. I actually interview some people that have healed throughout the years. You can see me on YouTube there. Let's see, oh my God, hundreds of healing stories on Instagram, all on its own, hundreds of them. And there's thousands of healing stories all over the internet from people healing. And medicalmedium.com is my website. And what you won't find on my website, you won't find subscribe, $49.99, $59. Subscribe here. Here's a membership course. Subscribe to this. Here's the $2,000 program. You won't see any of that. It's free. Everything's free. The medical medium does free, free, free. And there's a reason for that, because we're not propelled by money. We're propelled by people healing and spreading the word. And it's not about bankrolling off of people's ills. And that's what's amazing. So don't get your wallet out. And when you hear stories of, oh, he must have an empire, he's built everything, making so much money, it's insane. It's all misinformation out there. So what I'm saying is, when you go to medicalmedium.com, don't plan on getting your wallet out, okay? And don't plan on, getting a subscription, don't plan on all those things. Just plan on, where do I go to get the information? And look, go to the library and get the book. Right now it's on sale for $16.99. I mean, but the point is at Amazon, but the point is, go to the library. Don't even buy the book. Get it for free. Get it for free. I tell people that all day long, just get it for free. So anyway.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
This
the
was a
first
jam
person
pack.
not. Wow. You're amazing, Anthony. You're amazing.
Anthony, thank you so much for being on the show. This was such a pleasure, and we learn so much from you all the time.
Well, it's an honor. And I tell anybody out there, keep a light heart, pat yourself on the back. You're a good person. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not a faulty person. And, always keep in mind that, the body has an amazing way to heal when it gets given what it needs and the right tools that it needs. And I always say that knowing the cause of your problem is half the battle won. Knowing the true cause of your problem is half the battle won. Knowing what to do, what to take, and what tools to use and how to heal is the other half battle won. And that's medical medium information. And so just be easy on yourself. Have a light heart. There's a way out. There's a direction. And there are choices to make that you can make. And there is freedom. It is there. And have compassion for yourself. And, and just know that I believe in you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony.
Well, glad to be here. Thanks so much, you guys.
All right. Thank you.